Question for today. Why are balloons so expensive? Inflation. Hi everyone, my name is Maciek, representing Enxoo here, and in this series of videos we try to cover some topics related to the comms industry APIfication. Topic for today: MEF LSO Solution Providers Shopping Guide. If you're a communication service provider and you're pressed to implement MEF LSO APIs, you might want to do it on your own. But if you need help, solution providers are here to assist you. MEF did a great work to build a directory of potential solution providers, but there are so many of them. So a question arises: how do they differ one from another? Let me try to explain that in brief. MEF covers that in its recent State of the Industry report on page 35 and proposes following 6 categories to group them. Let's explain the concept one by one. First category: API implementers. It's not a rocket science. They basically help to implement LSO APIs in a standalone manner on top of existing BSS or OSS applications. So if you're a buyer or a seller and you already have applications that you are using to run your business, you just need to equip them with LSO APIs layer. These are the people to talk to. Keyword here is standalone. So we're really talking about service providers who are deciding to invest in their own API implementation, either in a buyer or a seller or both use cases. Second category are business application vendors. To achieve full automation, these APIs that are delivered by API implementers need to be connected with something behind the scenes. Applications that are used internally to support various business processes. Business applications vendors deliver these components. So in this category, you will typically find software companies like, for example, Salesforce or ServiceNow. These two categories are meant mainly for service providers mature enough to get a standalone LSO API implementation, so a direct approach. But there is also another indirect approach to embark on LSO API journey. Here comes the third category: LSO brokers, which are basically platforms that act a bit like a comparison engine, connecting buyers and sellers. Buyers might use broker platform to search and get quotes for a service from multiple sellers that are onboarded onto the broker's platform. A bit similar are LSO connectivity exchanges, but compared to brokers, they don't just exchange information and facilitate buying and selling negotiation process. They are actually reselling services, so they become a contracting party in this whole process. Finally, there are also LSO blockchain vendors and service orchestration vendors, which I believe are quite self-explanatory categories, so we won't cover them in details. But what's interesting, now you might have a question about us, Enxoo. Where do we fit into that landscape? Our API Hub solution positions us as a LSO API implementer, but as a systems integrator, we also have a deep expertise with developing BSS solutions. So we might also help as a business applications vendor. So first two categories. That's it for today. I hope this video clarified you a little bit the topic of LSO solution providers. Feel free to follow our APIfication channel. And if you have any questions you'd like us to cover in the next videos, let us know in the comments. Cheers!